for being here, for Victor Crowley. Thank you.
Hatchet 4.
Hatchet 4. That's, yeah, we were wondering, like, how come it's not called Hatchet 4?
It is called Hatchet 4 in Europe and the rest of it. Yeah.
The rest of the world?
Hey, the mic's dead. It's dead. The mic is alive.
The mic?
The mic is dead. The mic is alive. It's alive.
How many people have seen Victor Crowley? Oh, okay. Well, thank you for knowing this movie. What's that? No, don't be shy with me. We had the best time making this movie. I will just say it was one of my most favorite experiences ever.
It was my favorite experience ever, too. Thank you. I have to say that. I met Felissa on the film.
Yes, and we became best friends.
Yeah, no. I was friends with Adam Green for about 12 years, and I was that annoying actor that was begging him, like, put me in one of those, put me in one. And then he finally called and said, I am putting you in one. And I was like, oh, what? He did. He said he wrote the character. He's dumb. He's a jackass. I was like, sounds perfect. Sounds perfect for me. Thank you.
Egotistical asshole. Oh my God. And he told me that he wrote the part for me. Dumb, pill popping, snoozing.
You also did
Scary Sleepover, and we talked about
Scary Sleepover?
the one, the Scary Sleepover that she was in. Yes, he's great. He's fun director to work with. I was surprised on how much working with and stuff like that. Awesome.
Yeah.
The mic is alive.
The mic is on.
See, now, with this, I can do the Ghostface voice.
Go ahead, let's hear it. Who wants to hear Ghostface? Screams in theaters.
Hi, Cindy. What's your favorite scary movie? You're gonna catch you like a fish.
So I'm like, so even though we're best friends, we'll be on the phone. I'm like, could you do Ghostface voice?
Yeah, she's constantly.
Like,
Because when we're at the conventions, I can do Doofy, but it's too loud, and Ghostface, that's why they put the mic on me really close, because it's down there. Nice. There's another one like, I'm in the house. Do you know where I am? Huh?
I love that. Oh my God, I'm blushing.
Chilling,
So,
chilling.
again, we're watching Victor Crowley, and we're so thrilled to be here. Thank you for coming out on this cold evening to hang out with us. We appreciate you so much. And we're going to do a Q&A afterwards. So if you have any questions about cell phones,
Cell phones.
any other death scenes, any death scenes in this movie, we're here
Like
to
a
help.
cell phone death scene?
Like a cell phone death scene. My favorite.
Have you seen the film? Okay.
This is great.
I know. You made it.
Yay.
You made it.
Well, we appreciate it. We don't want to delay the screening any longer. Thank you again, and here we go, Victor Crowley. Thank you. He's dressed as Dylan. Big round of applause for Dave Sheridan, our hero. It's Dylan time.
Dylan is alive.
Dylan is alive.
But he doesn't fit this anymore.
Did you guys have fun? Did you enjoy it? Why did you do that?
What's that?
Push him. Why didn't he just run away?
I saved your life.
Not my life.
Oh, you're already dead.
I had a cell phone up my vagina. I was gone.
But there's a secret to that.
You don't survive the cell phone up the vagina. Come on.
You can come back from that. If you can give birth to 3 kids, you can come back from that. Come on.
Oh my God.
AT&T.
It was fun.
Yes.
I like my death. Tonight.
Oh, it's the best. Her death is 100% the best in that film, right?
Yours is pretty amazing.
Mine was, I didn't even know I was dying.
You did. You said,
Yeah.
I have your babies. What does that really mean?
No, I improvised a line. The first time I improvised a line, I said, take care of my identical twin brother. And then I ran off. And I was like, oh, that's great. And Adam came running out and he goes, "You can't do that. Perry already had, Andrew already had an identical twin cousin or something." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I guess you just caught me. I didn't watch your films." I knew that. So then we said, "I would have had your babies." Because she has a penis. And her name is Rose.
It's so funny because, my daughter is the voice in the beginning, you know, the little girl voice who's like, "What's up?"
That's her daughter Lola.
That's my daughter Lola.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the name of the bookstore is Bianca's Books.
Bianca's
My
Books.
daughter's Bianca.
Yeah.
Just saying. And Rose has a penis. Hello!
Seems very coincidental.
Autobiographical film.
I think it could be a love letter to you. Also, there's always a character in Adam's movies that wears green for his name, and you were chosen in the movie to wear green.
Yeah, we had a slight issue because I wore the green dress in the plane. The very first scene we filmed in the movie was the pill scene where I'm giving the pills, and I was wearing a little green dress. But then when we went back like 7 months later to film the scene with the Sabrina show and everything, we couldn't find the dress. It was all fucked up. So I had to improvise, like, "Oh, I have another outfit or another outfit."
What happened to it?
It got dirty and ruined and bloody.
Oh,
I wore it on the plane and got killed in it.
Oh, you had to do research. Oh.
And we did, So, little trivia. Hi.
But can I just say, because they just saw the movie, and I was telling somebody out there that basically, so when Adam called, and I told that earlier, I wrote this role for you. You got to do it. And I said, "Okay, let me read it tonight, and I'll call you back." But of course, I was like, "I'm going to do this. I've been asking him for years to work with him." And so I just went right to Dylan. I just wrote the page, whatever.
What a dick. Like, you didn't read the script, you're like, Dylan.
Some of us aren't the strongest readers.
Okay.
I'm not the only one here. Come on.
Okay.
And I love the dialogue, I love the character, so I was like, "Done." And he said, "We're gonna have I'm in, dude." And then he said, "We're gonna have a table read in about 2 months or a month." And I just kind of put the script aside, and I never read it. And I'm a procrastinator, so it's like, "Oh, the table reads today." And I have to read it. And I was living in North Carolina at the time, and they did it at Adam's place, but they put me on a video screen.
You and Q
Yes.
were on the
We were remote
screen.
via FaceTime or something. And I procrastinated, and I didn't print the script because I wanted to have it, I read it on an iPad, but for the read-through, I wanted it on the page. And it was one of those printers that had those little cartridges, and it ran out. So I didn't even have the ending. And we went and got more cartridges, and as the table read was going, I was being handed as it was printing, and so I was trying to catch up. And the way he didn't want to reveal Danielle Harris to any of us, so he cut the script that I had was cut right. It just says Dylan pushes Victor Crowley in the engine, and that was it. It didn't say Dylan dies or anything. And I was like, "Do I die? Do I die? I'm dead?" And everybody was laughing, thinking, "Of course you knew you were dead. You read the script." And I did read the script.
Silly. Of course you read the script and not just your role.
Yeah, but it's very Dylan. It was very Dylan not to read the script.
Hence, the character was written for you.
You know, I'm the best improviser in Shelby Parish.
You were hilarious. Was there a lot of improv on your part?
The only place I really probably improv the most was in the cockpit, because that was on my own. So I came up with that idea of, let me have the body come at me and kicking it, and all the stuff I was vamping on, because that was second unit, and Adam wasn't even there. That was the other assistant director, so we kind of were allowed to do what we're doing. But everything that was in the plane, like you, and you know because you were there, so I'll tell the story, but it was cold, and it was wet, and actors were wet and cold, so my whole thing...
It wasn't that cold, and it wasn't that wet, and some of us had a dress on with nothing, but high heels.
It was cold. So my thing, though, was when you improvise, you go off paper, and it takes time, and other actors that was an ensemble, and people were cold, and so instead we rehearsed. In between takes, we'd go by heaters and we'd get it like a radio play, and I love doing that. I do love staying on paper, and I felt it was not the place to veer off while people were cold and freezing. you know, so.
I mean, the entire script is written word for word. I just improvised one line about my clothes. Oh, I think I know. But everything else was verbatim. It was on the page what I said. But yeah, we had a great group. We were in love with each other. I mean, it was like a well-oiled machine. We had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. And
I think it reads too. I mean, at least.
I felt I was the closest. I was working closely with Crystal and Laura, Rose and Sabrina. They were like my two besties. The three of us would hang out on set. And
me, it was just Victor Crowley. Me and Victor were like, we just had,
Kane would
good.
Not come near any of us.
Yeah, he was creepy.
He was weird on set because we're all like really close friends with him. And we get to, set, we'd be like, hey, Kane, and he'd be like, hi, you're my buddy, what? And he'd be like, We were like, what is wrong with you? And he has said, and I have a podcast with Kane, and he oftentimes, reflects upon our times on set, and he'll say, I cannot be around any of you because I want to scare the shit out of you. And when it's your day to die, it's on the call sheet, like your death, and it's like, oh no. And all of a sudden he'd be far away in the woods, like pacing. And you're like, oh my God, tonight's my night. Somebody help me. And my night, we're in the middle of the night, and they watered down the mud and got my high heels ready, and I was like, you guys, I don't want to go. And he was behind me with a stick, poking me. Like, it's your turn. And I was like, no. And I legit was like crying because I'm like, you feel terrified. Here's this big monster. He's stabbing me with a stick, and I have to run up a hill, so that's all real. I'm like, who's going to help me?
That's why he must love doing this film because, see, if you read the credits there, he's also the stunt coordinator. He's been the stunt coordinator on these films, and I've known him for years as a stunt coordinator, and then also at conventions. This was actually the first film where I worked with him, where he's the killer, and I heard, like, don't go near him. I'm like, and I looked at him, I was like, oh, look, I'm not going near him, because he had like headset in.
Yeah, he listens to heavy metal music.
Like the white Apple headset thing.
He has his headsets on, and you can hear him like, and you're like, oh, this is freaky. You're exhausted. You've been filming day after day, and it's night, and it's scary and creepy and weird, and you're weird when you're on set, and you're in character. You're like Christian Bale. You're like method guy. You're not.
Get into my character.
You're not like friendly Dave. You're like, hi, who's there?
I'm not Dave right now.
Okay. I'll take over. But it's so fun, isn't it fun?
It's a ball, but that's what I was going to say about Kane. It's kind of not fair because when he's on set as the stunt coordinator, he'll bust balls and he'll have a great time, but then you don't get to give it back when he's, when he's Victor Crowley or probably Jason. But there's like there was a point where the plane had to shake and stuff. So Kane is there as the stunt coordinator, and he's making the plane move just.
That crash was scary because they had the entire crew.
Right.
The plane was in a studio, and we're all in the plane, and the entire crew was pushing it.
Yeah.
So you're really like jolting back and forth. And they had 3 people behind my seat pushing me alone. I'm like, oh, just snore. I'm like,
and Tiffany's really under the water, in the
oh
water.
My God,
and then Kate's like, I gotta go, I gotta pee. And the current was going right towards him. I'm like, dude, what? And he's like, whatever.
He took a piss right
peed
next to her
in
head.
the water that we're in.
He was like, this bitch. We're like, oh my God. But we're all like best friends, and it's funny. I mean, we played so many jokes on cue because of Impractical Jokers. We were like, he Perry bought him candy. Aww. And we stole the candy.
Did? Oh,
and
no.
he's like, where's my candy? And we're like, you have to find it. We were doing that the first day. You weren't there the first few days.
No.
Yeah, when we shot the plane stuff.
It was actually in the studio. It was like right? There was a studio in
We were in the
Senior
studio,
Valley.
yeah, you weren't there. That was the plane,
Right.
Getting ready to take off, and it was so fun.
The cops did come too on the on that opening scene with what's her name, Julie or Judy Vroom?
Oh, how
Kelly
fun
Brew.
is that opening
That's a great
scene
scene.
with the fucking snot?
Yes.
Okay, that
so
snot
good
is badass. I love that scene.
And I think that was one of the first real big outdoor kills. And we were shooting at night, we're shooting in a remote area, and it was, there's hills and it carried, and her screams carried, and here comes the cops. And someone was like, I swear, I think someone's getting murdered down there. It happens on every one of these type of films. They finally come and go, oh, okay, it's not a real murder, okay. So if you ever want to do some murders, just pretend you're shooting. Just an idea, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
So again, we thank you for being here, and we want to see if you have any questions about the film or about how amazing Dave Sheridan is and Scary Movie.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
After your death scene, did you get sleepaway cramps?
Sleepaway cramps?
Good one.
That was awesome. Yes, I did.
Judy's Revenge.
Yeah. I did feel like my death scene was an homage to Judy.
Oh, there you go.
The
That's
Carl
two.
and I.
That's two.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you feel like my, shoving up the vagina
go.
was similar to Judy with the Carl and I up her vagina? I'm just going to keep saying vagina. Right? Was it in my vagina?
Or cell phone, either one.
Miss Vagina.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That was such a fun death. That's my favorite death scene I ever had. Anyone else? Hi. Oh.
Yes. I have 83 followers. There might be stuff on there. I think there's some Seinfeld impersonations.
Was that improvisation? Your characters? Like, I don't remember it saying in the script, like, oh, you're gonna
The one
act like
I
this.
did, when they get a load of me, I just made that one up on the spot because it's like pretty easy to do. And the Christopher Walken was, they wanted me to do Christopher Walken, but I was like, I'll just say I'm Christopher Walken. Guess who this is? It's me. I'm Christopher Walken. It's like, who does impersonations and they say who they are?
You're funny.
Yeah.
You're funny.
How did you guys come up with the deaths? Did you guys kind of figure it out yourselves, or was it already?
The death scenes were all in the script.
Oh, they were already.
So, like Dave said, the night we read the script, we all went to Adam Green's studio, Aeroscope, and we sat around a big table, and we each had a candle in front of us. And mine said Kathleen, and everyone said their character. And when you came upon your death, you had to blow out your candle. You were done. So the whole script was written by Adam Green, and I do love my death. I will keep saying that. It was so fun. When I wrote it, I was like, yes, it's crazy. It was so cool. And, even though I hate going into, I had to have a whole, cast done. They had to put me in special effects and put the, what do you call it? The,
prosthetics?
the front, the mold. You have to sit under this, thick, gross, wet mold.
She's done it a lot.
And I hate it. It's
The first
so, and you can't breathe. You're literally I took Tiffany with me. But she was fucking great. She was like, you got this. I'm walking out, having a cigarette. I was like, ah. And I had to take a Xanax because you really feel like you're going to die.
So you really were Kathleen.
Fucking. For 45 minutes. And then I took this asshole with me.
Yeah. I'm an asshole.
I had to go, we did a movie called Lady Killer together. And we went and had more latex done because I had to get killed and shit. And he left. And I was going like this. And nobody knew. I was dying. I'm like, I'm going to die.
That's how, we actually set a camera up the videotape, and he said she was getting to the point where it's like, she's over, right? And he goes, and she kind of went like this, and he went, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I was there, and then she did, she went, okay. Now, that's not this, right? That's jazz hands. And so I was like, I don't know, jazz hands, is that really,
I was dying. Excuse me if I could fully think, oh yeah, hang on, I feel like I'm gonna die. Yeah.
I think you have to have a universal signal.
This is the universal sign. Get me the fuck
But it's not jazz hands. It just can't be. You know?
Yeah, I'll give you jazz hands after this thing is done. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
jazz this.
but I mean, the one thing to answer your question is obviously there's a lot that goes into any kill. Like, but for her, a major amount. There's all this pre-production of making the thing and putting it together. And but when you're in the physical aspect of it, and that's in this particular film, Kane is the stunt coordinator, but he's also the killer, so he's working with that. I don't know how he's going to do it. But the other actor, her, would also participate in. Oh, what if I turn this way? And you know, I'll have to, because you know, there's a lot of physicality that goes in. So you do participate in how it's going to go, but you definitely we didn't come up with how the kills were going to be because that's in the script. Yeah.
You just live in the moment, and I was terrified. So I was like, that whole like run up was just me being like, I'm so scared, help me.
That run up looked hard, yeah. I didn't see the water.
They were like,
down.
what the hell?
I was in the plane.
What?
I was in the plane. You see me in the plane looking, and then when I see you slipping, I'm like, did they water the hill down? So I'm actually like,
Had like a team of 10 people with buckets of water.
I didn't know
was
that.
like, you guys,
until I saw
why
you
do
falling and slipping.
I was asking Chris, why do you think they're watering the
Yeah.
hill down? Is that when I die? That's not good. Jazz hands.
The heels on.
Hate this. I feel relieved. I said.
One thing about, and I don't have them, I gotta add the keys on. Dylan has the keys to the boat and stuff. And so Matt was the art department guy, yeah. And it was, we were like,
Is that the real thing?
this is all real, yeah. This is real.
You wore this whole thing?
Yeah. They don't have the sharks.
You're so prepared. Look at me. I bring my shawl.
I was gonna wear the boots, the muddy boots, but
Yeah, you're good. You look good.
so, but the keys were Matt's real keys.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, we need keys for the boat. You know, it's like, oh, give me your keys. And once they're established, you got to keep wearing them. And we would wrap at like 6 a.m. And they were his car keys and his house keys. And I would be like, I'm done. And I'd get in my car and go. And I would get a call going, I'm 45 minutes gone already. He's like, do you have Matt's keys? I'm like, oh, jeez, again. I had to turn around. Like at least 3 times I took his keys.
No, you didn't get a cell phone. You were trying to say, shut up.
Yeah.
Hi, anybody?
It happens.
Any other questions?
So, as you guys know, horror fans are very intense. They're very passionate about horror. So I got a question for both of you guys.
Okay.
And your guys' careers, what kind of guided your careers? Was it the love of horror, or was it the love of acting and military?
I'm going to let you handle that one first. Since
Well,
you started
I'm
way before me.
I'm 106. I am a huge horror fan. So it really did begin though. I was cast in Sleepaway Camp at 13. I was 12, but I filmed it when I was 13. And that really sort of started my love, not only for watching horror movies, but making them, because I got to watch the actual effects being made right in front of me. Ed French would create everything right there on set. And so I fell in love. And I feel like it's been an incredible love affair between myself and the genre for 40 years. And I'm so grateful and thankful for it. So here I am, 100 and, what did I say, 6? Thank you. Yeah, I'm loving every second of this adventure. And I appreciate every single person here, truthfully, with all of my heart. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I'm probably completely the opposite, and so ultimately, and you can tell, like I was more of a comedy guy. Like when I was in kindergarten, I was like, I'm going to go work for Saturday Night Live, and that's what I went and did. You know, that was my goal, and I went and studied comedy. I ate, drank, and ate up comedies, and Second City TV, and whatever it is, sitcoms. And
your own reality show, Buzzkill.
Yeah, Buzzkill.
The first real, applaud this man. He's the innovator, the creator of really the behind-the-scenes, hidden camera prank show on MTV, and it's really sensational. All of what you've done, but that in particular,
Especially since
it was the precursor.
Spawned off of it.
Yeah, it was before Punk, before Jackass,
Right,
before
right.
Practical Jokers. this guy.
You know. But and so to answer your question about the horror, though, I love horror, watching horror movies growing up. But I wouldn't say I was a horror fan. I was more of a comedy fan, and I'm a little bit of a. I still jump at some of the stuff that's, you know, a little.
No joke. He
squeezy.
like just jumped. Like
Yeah.
I forget which part. I was like, oh my
it's
god,
the cave
really?
when he comes through the jump scare. Like, it's,
You
I know
know,
it's coming. You know, but the way it went for me was ultimately I did a movie called Ghost World, and the Chili Peppers loved the Ghost World character, and then they put me in their music videos. And then Rob Zombie saw those music videos, and he also liked Ghost World because it's comics, strip and crumb. And so then he put me in Devil's Rejects, because if you look at Devil's Rejects, it's probably one of the most.
Applaud all of this right now.
Devil's Rejects is hands down the greatest ensemble cast of any film ever, because it has these iconic horror people, and then there's just for him to give so much trust in so many comedy actors, and so he really found something there. But and then we went to a 10-year anniversary for Devil's Rejects, where it was a reunion, and that's where I discovered horror conventions, and that blew my mind. Like, I didn't know how awesome they were, and how awesome the fans were, and how deep all these other movies were, and then I just started really. Now I'm a student, and I get into it, and you know, playing a lot of catch up at the same time, but I'm enjoying it because I am a horror fan now. So,
Well,
and I'm not funny anymore. I'm not funny anymore. So.
You're fucking hilarious.
Oh.
So nice. Any other questions? Come on.
That one I did read the script. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons they cast me, because that character pre-existed. The goofy character. I've got short films of this character named Chip, and they saw the Chip character. Back then I used to make VHS tapes and pass them around, and they were on those VHS tapes. Chip was one of them. The character from Ghost World, Doug was another guy on those tapes. And they called me saying, we want you to play the Chip character in this movie. He'll be goofy. And I read it, and then I saw that it was Ghostface. I said, I'll do it, but I have to be in that mask, you know, because this is my chance to kill people. But what I really pitched was like, I do a lot of physical comedy as that character, and I was like, I know how to make that character funny, you know, because there's no expression in the face, it's all in the physical aspect. And so that was the best deal I made, was to be able to play both. And I'm not, you know, at the end of the little reveal, it's kind of cool. And so what is it, Usual Suspects? I love that ending. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually, when Dave and I became friends, we were like, oh, we have similar stories in both Scary Movie and Sleepaway Camp, because our characters are sort of seen as one person.
You don't
then
know.
There's a reveal.
There's more than meets the eye to them.
Yeah.
They're both kind of teased and picked on. They're killers, and then there's a reveal at the end.
But mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah, your reveal's a little
Just
bigger.
saying.
Even on a cold night. It was
Even
bigger.
when I was in the water. A little shrinkage. Hi.
Felissa, at HorrorCon a couple years ago, we had a conversation about how Brian Quinn kind of looks like Rosie O'Donnell. Have you told him that yet?
No.
But you said you were going to tell him, though, right?
I'm afraid.
It's kind of funny, too, because like the more he tries not to look like Rosie O'Donnell, the more Rosie O'Donnell keeps looking
They
like
do
him.
look like sister and brother. I think he would love it. I think he is just a dynamite person. What you see on screen, so authentic and sweet and kind, is how Brian really is in just, you know, his day-to-day. He's a very nice person. But I would love to tell him.
I think they should play brother and sister. Their accents are the same, too. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know, because they're both like this. They're both like that, you know. And maybe Kathleen's like the stepsister. Oh my God, can you need anything? Yeah, he really did have the Staten Island accent. I mean, I know I have one, but I try to conceal mine a bit. I kept asking Adam, is it heavy enough? Am I giving you enough New York? Because she's written like hard New York accent. And But yeah, he's amazing, and I have not told him. Next time I see you, I'll be like, I told him. Ah, good times. Anybody? Hi.
What's your guys' favorite horror movies?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, my favorite scary movie is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's beautiful and terrifying all at once. To me, when I was young and watched it on screen, I thought, holy shit, it seemed real. Like I was watching a documentary. And I think Marilyn Burns is the premier scream queen. Her beauty, her blood, her hysteria is so magnificent. And I love Ed Neal as the hitchhiker. I think he's just terrible. That's like one of the scariest characters ever. So I just love that movie. I love so many though. I love the original. I love all the original films, like Halloween and Friday the 13th and Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, Exorcist, Poltergeist, I don't know, so many. Jaws, you know.
Yeah, I'm a Shining, and I'm classic, so it's The Shining and Jaws, because I did see those both in the movie theater, like when they came out, and so they had a big effect on me. And like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, I do like sort of like visceral type of stuff that's more like hard strangling and like, you know, like, sorry, but like I just like the fight. I like the fight and the death scenes like that. Yeah, like there's a movie called Angst. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that one. Have you seen that? Anybody seen Angst? There you go. That's one of my favorite movies.
You talk about that a lot.
I love it.
I love it.
Because as I've been studying film, like that movie's amazing. I love Angst.
Okay.
Or Angst, I don't know which one you say.
Angst?
It's foreign. There's a foreign movie.
Yeah. Oh, Funny Games. I love Funny Games.
The original or the remake?
That's messed up shit. I love it. Hi.
So I know that you have a thing with Joe Bob. I
Well, I could have a thing with Joe
you
Bob.
were the gorilla, right?
I was the gorilla.
Did anyone see the Christmas special?
Well, the character was Steve Wilcox, by the way. Steve Wilcox.
Sorry.
Thank you, though.
You're fine. No, I'm just curious. I know you've always looked like you have a blast. It looks like, I don't know if this was your first time doing one of them.
It was, yeah.
He is such a sweet, humble
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Did you have a blast? Because she always looks like she's having fun.
Yeah. Well, the best part is, too, I didn't really do much with Sigmund Gross.
No, that was-
I dragged him. We were at a convention in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I had to film with them
Yeah.
the next day. And I was like, hey, why don't you come with me just to hang out? And he was like, yeah, okay. Because we're all friends. Joe Bob,
Yeah.
me, Dave, Joe Bob, and Darcy are like, we hang out a lot. So I was like, oh, come to set. It'll be a good time. And they were like, oh my God, Dave, get in the gorilla suit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
The
God.
sweaty, hot gorilla. I mean,
But I loved it because we're on the phone, we're doing a mock telephone, and as the gorilla, he's like,
Well,
even in the gorilla suit, he's doing all his stuff.
on the amazing side is we raised a record 175,000.
156,000, but that's freaking
Right.
amazing.
On the bad side.
100% went to charity.
Yeah, well, some
All
of
Joe
it,
Bob.
because the bad side, I couldn't really see, and I couldn't write, so a lot of that is just me making up numbers and going, you got it, all right, I can hear numbers, so I didn't want to tell anybody, so I didn't know what's coming back, because I just kind of made up stuff and was sending it in, like, because I wanted to be like, we got 50,000! 50,000! Let's go wait!
Last time you were on the show.
I'm joking.
But Joe Bob and Darcy are probably two of the nicest people on the planet. If you ever have the chance to meet them or talk with them, they are just exactly how you see them, like the most beautiful, humble, big-hearted, knowledgeable people you could ever meet. And I'm so grateful to be part of that show. They're starting season 4 soon, so.
Yes!
Woo-hoo! I'm sure there's a lot of dicks that are mangled in season 4.
There always is.
Oh,
There always is.
I mean, and that came about because he came up to me at a convention and was like, I'd like you to be a part of the series. I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks, that's so nice. He's like, I think you should be the mangled dick expert. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Best job ever. And I mean it. Like, I'm so grateful. It's my favorite gig ever. And he legit calls me like, hey, Felissa, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the bathroom, okay. Or I'm in a car, or I'm in the store, and we just chit-chat.
There's no better qualified person.
Chat about mangled motherfucking dicks. Good times. The only time I like dicks?
Like getting dick pics?
Yeah, I never get dick pics. All my female actress friends are like, I just got dick pics. I'm like, I'm gonna handle dick experts. Send them my way.
It's because everybody's afraid they're going to get one back.
They're good.
Hey,
Maybe on the show.
Here's my dick. So yeah, it's fun.
He's probably afraid because he's now met two chicks with dicks now.
Yeah.
And then
No.
he's got more to be afraid of.
I do. You never know. That's why I'm in the gorilla costume.
Yeah. Got a little raunchy way to try. Yes.
Do you guys have any stunts, or do you guys do the whole scenes by yourself?
In this particular movie?
Yeah.
You know,
Did you have a stunt person?
I did. I'll tell you where the stunt was me tackling Kane into the engine. That wasn't me. And he came up and talked to me about it because he knows I do a lot of my stunts, but it's also him. And basically, his whole thing is he doesn't want me to get hurt, and he didn't want himself to get hurt, and so he worked on it with one of his stunt guys and said, and then that's what he said. Anytime there's two people involved, they usually really want to use stunt people. Same thing in Scary Movie. One of the only places I didn't do everything in Scary Movie. Two places, but one is when I'm running down the stairs and the old ladies at the end with the piano. They pulled me off of that because they said you can't. If you trip and hurt her, then the whole thing is like. But if you're over here and you get yourself hurt on your own, then that's your fault. But it's all about liability. So, yeah.
Honestly, I've always done my own stunts, and I always say if I don't get hurt, then I didn't do my job. I've had broken ribs, broken face, broken arms, broken everything. But it's fun. At the end of the day, you're like, I did it. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't much for me to do other than run and cry and get scared in this one. But I mean, we do get hurt, you know. It's not anyone's fault. It's just you're kind of in it, and you want to make it look as real and authentic as you can. So
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I got killed in a film, and a big guy had to come behind me to grab me. I was tied to a chair, and I was mic'd, and he grabbed me, and I broke 2 ribs, and all they heard over the mic was, and they knew right away. They were like, cut. I'm like, yeah, I'm screwed. So I just walked away for a little bit and got myself together and continued. But it happens. I did Satan's Playground, a movie where Ed Neal had a machete to my neck, and the machete, I moved in a certain way, and the machete moved, and I got like nicked.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm still here. So you know, you do what you can, and you have fun.
I know. I remember it was on Time's Up. It's a movie that she's in coming out in the next 6 months
Yeah.
or year. This
A New
upcoming
Year's
year.
a New
This
Year's
is New Year's
slasher.
Eve, so hopefully December will be out.
Why does it take you so long, though?
It does take a long time. I mean, just, you know what? A lot of times it has to do with the editing and wanting the movie to be good.
Right.
So the team around it is really kind of like overseeing everything in a way that takes forever.
Yeah,
but
that film's done now, but it missed the window. Though. It was
Yeah,
like
that
by the
one-
time October rolled around, it's like, oh, we're not finished. We have to get the score and the color design or whatever it was. So,
it's done. It's coming.
and then it was like the window for that is putting it out at New
Yeah.
Year's Eve or in that period. So.
Yeah.
But throwing the trailer on New Year's Eve was kind of mean. Come on.
Exactly. We're very mean.
But I was going to tell a story. I'm in the other room because it was where you got killed.
Yes.
It was so tight.
No
They were like,
spoilers.
huh?
I said no spoilers.
No,
No, I do. I get killed. I have a very small part
Yeah.
in the movie. I'm
We're
the
Fahrenheit.
producer on it, so I play a cop. I'm
Yeah.
in it for a minute.
I played her partner.
And you were my partner. We're two
Yes.
cops.
Woodrow.
2 idiot cops. We're like, dum 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 in the
We're
snow.
idiots, but we get killed pretty quick.
And you heard
But
me.
I heard her
Yeah, and you
over
heard
and
her,
over
yeah.
again, getting slammed down, and I was like, can they get
He
it? Like, how many
was
takes is it going to
He's
take?
like, what is going on with no, because I like to do my stunts. And I was like, really having them hit me on the ground and bouncing on. And he comes, he's like, are you seriously doing this? I'm like, yeah. Why would I not? I want the scene to look good. I don't want it to be like, oh, I got hurt. Oops.
I have one movie coming out. I can't say what it is because I don't want to spoil that my character gets killed. But I do get killed. But I'm not going to tell you what the movie
What
is.
movie?
Can't tell you. I can't tell you. But it's a lot similar to that when Kane was taking the hammer and smashing the face and all this other stuff. And at the end, they kill
I
her.
think it is.
The one in Gettysburg.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So at the end, where they needed that whole death face, this thing of like, don't move at all, the killer poured beer on my face, but it's also in my eyes, and it was real beer. It was like every time I was like, oh, and they're like, no, you can't move. I go, how can I move? And they're like, oh, that's a good point. Okay, let's change that out with water. I go, after 5 takes, I was like, oh, I can't see. That's hurting. You're like, he can't do the death face. He can't do it. No, you can't do the death face when there's piss in your face or your eyes,
I think we really tried to kill each other on these movies.
I did another death face with her. Did anyone see what was it? Screen Test? Did anyone see Screen Test? There's a thing.
Thanks, Chris.
No, I don't want to give it away.
We did it 2 years ago. That was fun. If you get a chance, it's a fun movie. I do bad things in that movie. I do.
Yeah.
I like being the villain. Fun. But you're like,
It's so nice in real life.
no, I'm fucking not. No. It's fun.
So, you mentioned that the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is your favorite, right? Now, obviously, you guys are all friends with Kane, and he's doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming up. You guys have a podcast right now. Are you guys going to stream the game when it comes out? Are you guys thinking about playing it?
Yeah,
That would
of
be
course. I play Friday the 13th game in my house. And he's always like, dude. He's like, girlie, do you really? I'm like, I do play it, I do. Yeah. What's that? We have Xbox.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's it coming out on?
I play Shelly. I'm always Shelly.
Is this
I love
is
Shelly.
the Texas Chainsaw game on all formats?
Yeah.
It'll be on the new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
He's so
That should be-
excited about
that's a
it.
great idea.
Kane is amazing. He's one of the nicest people.
Kane really is the only guy to play Jason,
Leatherface.
Leatherface,
Mm-hmm.
Freddy,
Freddy.
and so did he do Michael? Ever? Let's get down.
Not quite, but almost. We got this good.
3 though. 3's pretty good. And Victor Crowley's with 4. Yeah. I'll have to get him a new Ghostface.
I think he's scary as Victor Crowley. My kids are huge horror fans, and the only movie they don't want to watch is Hatchet 4, is Victor Crowley. They think he's just too scary. I guess the look of him is terrifying.
Did they watch Slip Away Camp?
Oh, they watched that when they
That's a
were
good
like
question.
6 months old.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, Mommy, why does everybody talk about your penis? And I'm like, here you go. We're so open in my house, and
You need a little children's book about sleepaway camp. Oh. With the Peter and when they're like, they're pointing the thing and stuff.
Of course.
It's like a little children's book.
And it's a pop-up.
Yeah, pop-up book.
Papa. And at the end, I really pop
Obviously,
up.
a pop-up book. And maybe a scratch and sniff at some point.
I swear my chair's gonna be over here. Killing people. You got
Goofies
scratch.
would be scratches.
And you're the one with the poopy and the vacuum masturbation stuff, right?
I guess. That's what you're just cleaning my room.
Dude, come on. Can we
No
all
comment.
raise our hand? Do
No
we know what
comment.
he's doing with that freaking vacuum?
Yes, Miles.
Hello. Bad vacuum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, good. Go ahead, you can talk.
No, you was doing the scene with me.
I know, do it. Yeah. How's your vacuum? You cleaning your room?
Yeah, don't disturb me while I'm cleaning my room. Yeah. Mean it.
It's so fun when he's dressed as Doofy and he comes in with his whistle and. Oh my god.
I did Doofy meets Buddy the Elf for Christmas time. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Did you see pictures?
A couple guys made like Buddy the Elf Doofy Christmas ornaments. And, well, we're going to be doing a couple conventions with Lyndon. How do you say his last name? Porco?
Mm-hmm. Lyndon
And
Porco.
Lyndon,
he's a little person.
Actual actor,
He
physical actor.
played Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and he's a very, very
Dallas.
close friend of ours. He's
Yeah.
an amazing, amazing person.
So he's going to be coming out and doing some photo ops in the Chucky outfit.
So great.
So I'll be at that, so I'm going to dress up as Chucky and Doofy as Dookie. It's going to be Dookie. I'm going to be in the Chucky outfit, so my hair will be red then. And
Poor Lyndon. I'm going to come see
he doesn't know it's coming. I'll be like, yeah, Dookie, I'm Dookie. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the good guys. We're the good guys.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. You're funny.
Maybe I could put him in the vacuum and wheel him around. Here he comes! Wait, Chucky's coming. Chucky's coming. Like it's
They
chariot.
made a movie.
It's a
Which
chariot.
one? Little Man?
Little Man. Oh, I did. Yeah. I forgot, yeah.
He
was 9
played
years
Marlon
old.
Wayans.
I worked
as the
with him
little
when he was
person.
9, and then
Yeah,
we
he
ran
was
into each
9
other, and
years
he looked
old.
so familiar, and I was like, he said hi, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now
He's
one
like
time.
the coolest person on the
Yeah,
planet.
awesome. So if you ever see him listed at a convention, please go up
If
and
you
see him.
ever see Lyndon Porco
Yeah.
listed at a convention, you have to go see him. He's the most beautiful, amazing individual
Next to
ever.
me.
Next to Dave Sheridan, who you guessed. Yes, that is true. Aw. Friends still yet?
Yes, that's right.
Maybe.
So
We'll
what
see.
do we do?
See what that ending has. Anybody? Hi. Is that Dave?
Yeah.
So, you said that, Dave, you said most of your early influences, like you were in comedy. What were your influences growing up, your heroes in comedy?
Oh, Peter Sellers, for sure. Peter Sellers. I love, Steve Martin. Yeah, Mel Brooks, all the, the spooky stuff like that he did. Jim Carrey was later, though, because that was more.
He reminds me a little bit of, doesn't he?
He did that.
It's not
That's
like
why.
there's a Jim Carrey-esque.
Well, no, that's why Keenan really went with me, because he said you were reminding me of Jim Carrey. 'Cause
There you go, in
brought
Living
him up
Color.
here in Living
Yeah.
Color. So
I
that was a
love
good
it.
thing to
Oh,
say.
I love
I
it.
just wanted Jim Carrey's credit card or something.
Yeah.
Bank account. That didn't happen. Yeah.
He's so funny. Anybody else?
So many different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I typically we have managers who, said it. I always liken it to the prom because people are like, hey, come to, Monster Mania. And I'm like, well, it's like the prom. I have to be asked. Somebody has to ask me. I can't just go. So yeah, like I have managers who will call and say, hey. But a lot of times I just harass and stalk people and push my way in like, hey, I want to be there.
You wouldn't do that. No, but
Why the fuck are you here?
But what you do want, like for instance, like she did Houston
Horror Film Festival.
Well, then obviously, like everyone knows, they fall in love with you, and then it's like they ask her back. So.
And then I'm like, Dave, want to go to da da da? And he's like, okay. I'm like, pack your backpack. And next
Right.
thing you know,
That's kind of what brought us here. Is like we did Oklahoma HorrorCon, but we didn't quite make it there because we were on what was called a flight mare. 48 hours on 4 different airplanes, 3 hotels.
flight there.
Yeah. And we got here late Sunday afternoon or whatever. We just made it early. But then we went out to dinner. There was a steak place over here, and I think Mosley was over here doing a screening. We said, yeah, we're like, oh, what's that? Oh, we want to come back. Can we come back and do that?
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. The Oklahoma HorrorCon. Yeah, we love that show. I bet you all love it, and I hope you all enjoy it and support it because Rod is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Yeah. And I feel like this is the city that I fell in love with a few years ago. So it's sort of like I fall in love with the city, and again, like Adam Green, I just stalk the shit out of it.
I think this city's in the right location because it's the right size. It's not giant, but it's also At the horror con, it's like, I would say, where are you from? Where are you from? Well, how far? And everything was like, oh, 2 hours. 2 hours away, 2 hours. I go, everything's 2 hours away here. I don't know what's between. A lot of fields, I guess. Marijuana growers.
And we have a dear friend, Reed, who's here, who
Yeah.
drove us. So thank you, Reed. We love you.
We drove
can't be
this
here
time
without
because
you.
we didn't want to get on that flight again. So
Yeah, not ever driving.
Yeah.
So we made it. Woohoo!
Yeah, I missed you guys last year.
We missed you.
It was a difficult task.
I brought
We should
the
write about
CD
it.
music.
It was me, Dave,
Yeah.
and Robert Mukes.
But you're supposed to give me the.
We're the real three from hell. It was legit, like, scary
Oh, it
in the
was.
airport trying to get here. I mean,
It was like the Wonder Twins, but we had an extra giant big guy.
We had a
too at the same
big
time, 'cause
giant
we all had our
guy
own
with us.
powers. I was like good with the axe. Like I was like going with the axe trying to get stuff, and you were like, hold on. And you got like that. And then Robert would just come up and be like, listen, we're getting on that plane.
It was fun and frustrating, certainly, you know, 'cause we wanted to be here, and they were like, well, we'll pick up at a hotel again. We spent 2 nights in a hotel trying to get here. It's like, oh, but we made it for Sunday.
Yeah.
And I had no luggage. They lost my luggage
Oh
all
my
the time.
gosh, I forgot about that.
It's okay.
And she went in the
Wasn't it
laws.
worth it to see the old lady searching Robert's luggage though?
Oh, yeah.
My God. And he has the pussy.
It was a, yeah.
The
Pussy
pouches.
liquor. Hot pussy liquor.
Hot pussy.
It was like pencil cases.
And it was like,
We're going through TSA. The
an
lady was
older
like 90
woman
years old,
was
super
like,
sweet.
"Okay,
Oh, I gotta look in here.
Sir, you know, he's like
She was like,
17
"Ooh."
feet tall. Sir, we need to look through your luggage. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
I
we're
didn't know-
almost there.
Yeah, but I didn't know what was in there.
And
Okay,
this
good.
one, this
Yeah.
penguin is like, you know,
Yeah, I saw
all
that.
right, I'm
Wow.
like, oh, I can't wait to see this go down.
Yeah.
And she opens the suitcase and all 100 pouches that say red hot pussy liquor. It comes falling out, and I'm like, I take a video. I'm like, no. And Robert didn't flinch. He was like, you're damn straight.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
I'm a red hot pussy liquor. And I'm like, oh my God. Now we're definitely not getting to Oklahoma. And she was like, okay, you're all good. Right down there. And I'm like, oh my God, we made it. It was like the Amazing Race. Finally got here 3 days later. So fun. The adventures. Trying to make it into a show. Wouldn't it be like a fun show? Like just behind the conventions, all the crazy shit that happens. You know, like the amount of insanity that right? There's a lot of flight shit and who's flying with who and
Yeah, it's tough.
and fun, but
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah,
Right?
sometimes you might not be able to air it. I'd be like, I don't know. Hey, can you
It takes
cut
like
that
a
out?
naked, like, you know, running through the
Oh my gosh, yeah.
ridiculous.
We did that. I did that. Adam Green had his like 48-hour Yorkie-thon
Oh my.
this year,
Did anyone watch the Yorkie-a-thon?
and I just logged
It
on.
was naked.
I logged on at 4 a.m. in my hotel room, and I was watching, and it was Adam and my friend Spooky Dan, so I decided to text them. Just like it was almost like I'm pranking a radio thing, like I want to see them look down at their phone. And then I'm giggling, and I was like, man, Dave Sheridan's texting me. And then Spooky's like, Dave Sheridan's texting me too. And you'd have to think they know I'm watching. And then I was like, do you want to come on? And I was like, oh no, dude, I can't. I'm actually naked in bed right now. And he goes, perfect. You know, so sent me the link. I was like, ah. So, yep.
Naked.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Crazy person. Who goes on the Yorkie-a-thon nude?
Yes. I'll do anything for Yorkies.
Clearly.
What's
And-
the weirdest thing you had to find for a convention?
She definitely had more weird than that.
I'm like, how many dicks have I signed? A lot of vibrators, a lot of little sausage. You know, they're little sausage things, food. I guess I don't know who's eating them, but yes. You know, I'm sorry.
Curling irons.
A lot
She
of
was
curling irons. I signed a lot of curling irons. You know, just boobs. thoughts? You know, anything that anybody wants, I'm here to help.
I don't get anything near that, but I do sign some vacuums. And so I signed a vacuum. The guy had a really nice version of the vacuum. He had like the real deal.
Nice vacuum?
Yeah, nice vacuum. Nice long and a nice bend to it. Chrome, shiny, clean. So I signed it. And then he's like, thank you, and walks away. He comes back 20 minutes later. He's like, oh, is there any way you can re-sign it? I wore it off. He wore it off. And I was like, what'd you do to this thing? Right? And he's like, oh, no. He actually was wearing it around his neck. Like while he walked around, he put it around his neck. And
Is that what they call it?
That's what he said. But at first I was like, I wouldn't even wear it off. I don't know if I did this. Sorry you were cleaning your room a little hard there. But, no, I wore it around my neck. Yeah.
Yep, that's what he was doing. He told me that too. Besides his penis, he said he wore it around.
Yeah. That's why we're gonna get a tattoo.
I feel so
We're gonna
bad
get a
that there was
tattoo.
a child here and I was talking about mangled dicks. Terrible person.
We're all children in our heart.
Shut up. Anybody else? We want to take one last question.
You've both been here to Oklahoma a few times now. What's some of your favorite shit about this place?
The people, always. For me, it's always about, because you know I love you. It's always about connection and meeting people who you just love and get to chat with about our favorite thing, horror movies. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good steak here, too, I think. So, and then, what's it called, the brick something? Is there like a brick wall? What? Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I probably should.
His favorite thing is that one place he didn't get to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've heard a lot about it. I go, maybe I shouldn't go there. I want to be let down.
Well, we just want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you, and thank you for coming tonight. Thank you so much. You good? Did you say everything you wanted to say?
Still in time. Yeah.
He's so cute. Thanks, Sheridan!
What if she did go to the
Are you trying to react?
What if had your babies?